Welcome, Peter, son of Adam. Welcome, Susan and Lucy, daughters of Eve. And welcome to you, Beavers. You have my thanks. But where is the fourth?
Turns out we didn't know this before, but back in 2018, Joe Johnston had big plans to make the Chronicles of Narnia the silver chair right before retiring from filmmaking. Fast forward to now, and it seems like the perfect time to bring Narnia back into the spotlight. Greta Gerwig, the amazing director behind Barbie, is now stepping in to help make a new Narnia movie, specifically Narnia 4: The Silver Chair. Looks like a trip back to Narnia might be closer than we think. So let's dive into the problems with the Chronicles of Narnia series that Greta Gerwig's films could totally fix, and while we're at it, let's chat about how Narnia 4: The Silver Chair could still happen. Let's jump in. Alright, let's take a deep dive into what happened with the Chronicles of Narnia: The Silver Chair. Even though it's the fourth book in the Narnia series, it's technically the sixth in chronological order. The story follows Eustace Scrubb and Jill Pole, who get pulled into Narnia by Aslan. They go on a mission to rescue Prince Rilian, who's trapped in the silver chair by a creepy shape-shifting snake lady called the Lady of the Green Kirtle. After a series of trials, they free Rilian, reunite him with his dad King Caspian, and he eventually becomes the new King of Narnia. Eustace and Jill head back to England, and that's the end of their adventure. So why didn't we ever get the Silver Chair movie? The main reason was the drop in box office sales for the previous Narnia films. As the money dried up, Walden Media, the studio behind the franchise, started second-guessing their plans. They had originally wanted to make The Magician's Nephew a prequel, but that idea got scrapped when Walden lost the rights to the franchise in 2011. In 2013, The Silver Chair was picked up by the Mark Gordon Company, and things seemed promising when director Joe Johnston, known for Captain America, came on board in 2017. Unfortunately, the project faced delays, and by then, the original cast had aged out of their roles, which meant a reboot with new faces. This version of the Silver Chair likely wouldn't have included the original cast like Liam Neeson as Aslan. When Johnston's version fell apart, Netflix swooped in to take over the Narnia franchise in 2018 with plans for both movies and TV shows. This shift seemed to put the brakes on the Silver Chair film, as no one bothered to revive it after all the hiccups during development. But now, here comes Greta Gerwig, the director behind Barbie, potentially breathing new life into the Silver Chair as part of Netflix's Narnia reboot. Adapting the Narnia books for the big screen has always been a challenge, not because of their length, but because of how to capture their rich, fantastical worlds in a movie. For example, the Harry Potter TV series is exploring new angles from the books that were left out of the movies, which could be a great way to expand the story for fans. But The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe has already been done, so there's not much new material there to work with. With The Silver Chair, though, there's room to expand on the original story, exploring new layers that were missed or underdeveloped in past adaptations. Gerwig's involvement is especially exciting because of her creative flair. She could bring fresh insights and ideas to this classic story, just like how different Shakespeare adaptations have revitalized those plays. Even though C.S. Lewis's Narnia books are relatively short and aimed at younger readers, turning them into films requires expanding the narrative to keep audiences engaged. While The Silver Chair isn't quite as large in scope as many other fantasy series, it's still a big challenge to keep that Narnia magic while making the story work for a film. But with Gerwig at the helm, there's a good chance this reboot could give the Narnia series a new lease on life, exciting both die-hard fans and newcomers alike. That being said, adapting The Last Battle would be much trickier. It's got some darker, more controversial themes that would need to be handled delicately in a film. One major issue is the revelation about the Pevensies' fate, which left some fans scratching their heads, especially with how it dealt with Susan's character. There's also the portrayal of the Calormenes, which has sparked some debates over the years about its sensitivity. Any adaptation of The Last Battle would have to navigate these tricky issues without losing the essence of the story. On a different note, William Moseley, who played Peter Pevensie in the original Narnia films, recently shared his thoughts on the franchise. While promoting his new World War II thriller, Murder Company, Moseley said he'd love to return to Narnia, but he's not sure if it'll happen anytime soon. He mentioned catching up with his old Narnia co-stars like Georgie Henley and Anna Popplewell, and that they all still feel like family. Moseley also said that Skander Keynes, who played Edmund, is now working in politics but is also open to coming back if the opportunity arises. Although Moseley still looks back on his Narnia days fondly, he's focused on his new role in Murder Company, a movie based on a true World War II story. Moseley admitted that he didn't know much about World War II history when he first got the role, but he's been learning a lot. He's also pointed out how important it is to make sure younger audiences understand the historical context. Despite the serious backdrop, he's excited about the film and he's putting his all into it. On the flip side, Greta Gerwig's upcoming adaptations of the Chronicles of Narnia for Netflix present a unique opportunity to address some long-standing issues in the books. One significant challenge is the series' reading order. While The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe was the first book published, The Magician's Nephew is chronologically the first in the Narnian timeline. Gerwig could choose to start the series with The Magician's Nephew to align with C.S. Lewis's vision, but this might confuse audiences who are familiar with the original release order. Another issue is the length of the books. The Narnia stories written for a younger audience are short, which poses a challenge for adapting them into feature-length films. Unlike the Harry Potter series, which has enough material to fill multiple seasons, Narnia stories need to be expanded with additional plot lines and action, especially to create the epic scale Hollywood demands. The series also faces a drop in quality after the first 3 books, which feature the beloved Pevensie siblings. After The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, their role diminishes, leaving other characters who are less engaging. The horse and his boy, for example, is often seen as a tangent with little connection to the central narrative, making it less appealing for adaptation. Gerwig's version might opt to skip it or treat it as a spin-off. Another controversial aspect is Susan Pevensie's treatment, especially in the last battle. Susan is excluded from the true Narnia, leading to accusations of misogyny, as the reason given for her exclusion is her growing interest in nylons and lipstick. This portrayal of Susan is a problematic and outdated view of female maturation. Gerwig's adaptation will likely revise this to make Susan's story more empowering and modern. Lastly, the book's old-fashioned ideas pose a challenge in a 2020s context. The language and religious allegories in Narnia may seem dated, but Gerwig's thoughtful approach, seen in her adaptation of Little Women, suggests she can modernize these aspects without losing their core messages. Her expertise in handling classic material with sensitivity makes her the ideal director to bring the Chronicles of Narnia into the modern era. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below.